This is my first 177 caliber Benjamin. It's an early 2001 production 397 PA. So being a PA, it has the cast aluminum trigger housing, and it has the cartridge valve. But being an early PA, it still has the walnut stock, which is nice. I like early PAs. I have an early 392 PA, and up until now, all of my Benjamin air guns have been 22 caliber, and of course I've got a couple of Sheridans in 20 caliber, and I have some 177 calibers in Crossman, Daisy, and some other brands, but this is the first Benjamin in 177 that I've had. Now, a few years ago, when I was looking for my first Benjamin, early Benjamin with the Tootsie Roll stock, I was looking at 312s and early 342s and so on, and I ended up getting an early 342, first year production, in fact, 1968. And I've got at least one video up of that, and I'll probably be doing another one on that gun soon. But at the time that I bought it, I was looking at 312s and 342s, and most of the ones I was finding were kind of high priced. So I was also looking at some 310s, 340s, 317s, and 347s, and all of those are 177 caliber. The 310 and 340 are smoothbore 177, and you could shoot BBs in those. BBs are pellets, and the 317 and 347, of course, were rifled 177 caliber. And I was noticing that the 317 and 347 tended to be a little bit less expensive than 342 and 312, and the 310 and 340 tended to be even less expensive. In fact, I was seeing some of those for less than $100, and sometimes quite a bit less. I should have went ahead and bought one for those kind of prices, but because I think it's kind of interesting, the smoothbore. I would kind of like to have one, but that's neither here nor there. Bottom line is, I never bought one of them, and I have occasionally thought since then of getting a 177 caliber Benjamin. So let's check out the other side of it for a bit. Man, that's a nice looking stock, isn't it? While I'm thinking about it, I'd like to give a shout out to JL, because JL left some comments on some of my other videos and mentioned his 347, and that kind of got me thinking maybe I should, look around and see if I could find a 347 at a reasonable price, or 347, actually no, 397 is what he mentioned that he has. And so I was thinking, maybe I could find a 397 at a reasonable price, or maybe even a 347. And but I didn't figure that would happen the way things have been going lately. And even Baker Air Guns doesn't seem to have any Benjamins in stock right now, older ones anyway. And so these things seem to be kind of selling out everywhere and going for high prices and so on. So I happened to be in an antique store last week and ran across this at a very good price. A pre-panic price, shall I say. And in fact, less than what a new one costs. And to me, you know, although the new ones are good, the old walnut stock and any of the older versions, to me, although, you know, like I said, I do like the new ones, but the older ones I think are worth a bit more money than a new one. So when I found this one for a really good price, I decided to go ahead and jump on it. And actually, I didn't buy it on the spot, but I went home and I started thinking about it again, and I was thinking about how I have been thinking about maybe finding a 397 and buying it, and kind of thinking to myself, well, there, I have one in my hands for a good price and didn't buy it. So I went back down there the very next day and bought it. I was glad to find it was still there. So anyway, there it is. I don't think it's even been shot much because I had to do some sight adjustment, and it was holding air, but it seemed a little bit weak. But I put some non-detergent motor oil in it at all the spots where you're supposed to do it, and pumped it up and shot it a bit, and it seems to have come back to full power. Basically what it was doing was, it at anything less than 5 pumps, the pellet would, you know, at 3 pumps, the pellet would leave the barrel, but it seemed like it was just barely leaving the barrel and just falling out the end of the barrel. And at 5 pumps it didn't have much power. And but after I worked it over a little bit, now it seems to be shooting at full power, and I've been shooting it some today and adjusting the sights a little bit at a time, and which it has the original rear sight, which has kind of a hokey windage adjustment, but that's okay, you know. I don't mind a hokey sight. I've been known to make my own sights that are way hokier than that. But anyway, at about 20 yards, it's making it to the target and penetrating the paper, and you can hear it go through and everything. So it has a reasonable amount of power at 20 yards with only 3 pumps. So we're shooting today with the 7.9 grain Crossman hollow points. So without further ado, let's get to it. I completely lost track of the shot count, but I heard them all hit, so they're all on there. Looks like I've spread them vertically a little bit and also shooting a little bit to the right. I tried to adjust it left a little bit earlier. Looks like I'm going to have to work on that a little more. But, you know, it's a good plinking gun. And hopefully, with development, I'll be able to come up with a more accurate load. But that works well for plinking. And that's what I got it for. The reason I wanted a 177 is just for that, just for fun shooting. And the reason all my Benjamins until now have been 22 caliber is because, to me, the 22 caliber doesn't cost much more to shoot, but it's much better for hunting. Packs more power, and the gun is the same size and weight and everything. So, but I wanted a 177 just for fun shooting, and you know, maybe backup use for varmints or whatever as needed. And the thing about 177 is they're so much more popular and so much more readily available. Don't get me wrong, 22 pellets are quite readily available, and I can afford to buy them in bulk, you know, buy them online and buy them in bulk so I never run out. But the thing about 177 is you can pretty much always find them. If you can find any pellets, then you can find 177, because that's what most people have. That's what the average not extremely serious air gunner has, because it's what's most stocked at the big box stores and everything, both in terms of the air guns themselves and also ammo for them. And you can find 177s cheaper too, just because of the greater sales volume, and because they're ubiquitous. You can find them cheaper than 22s. And as a matter of fact, I bought these. It was a tin of 500 for about $6, and I've seen them for even less than that. So a little bit over a penny a shot, and it's worthwhile to have this for just that reason. Plus the fact that, you know, it's another nice Benjamin, and I didn't want to pass it up at the price it was at. So anyway, thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to having a lot of fun with this particular air rifle.